Cristina, tell me, or tell us, not me, it's not always me self-centered, tell us, Cristina, you've developed this, the word for waste in Italian, and pardon my Italian, uh, sprecometro, Spe-
Recometro.
sprecometro. So
Yes.
you've developed this recently, in the sense that you've spoken a lot about the satisfaction around being able to achieve this. I mean, you have had for quite some time, a passion for sustainable cooking. The Ambassadore del Gusto is also about using the local products around. We saw Juliana and Vella who do that same thing. So tell me a little bit. Tell us all a little bit about how you do exactly what also Massimo was talking about, being mindful of food waste in restaurants, and how do you replicate that, because you have the restaurant, you have the canteens, and then you have the home. So just a few words on that, if you can, from your perspective.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this panel, which faces a topic that it has been dear to me for a long time. I've been trying to be more sustainable, which is not only the waste of food, but includes, as Douglas McMaster has pointed out, not only that. So I have taken actions into my restaurant. I've been one of the first ones to certify myself as plastic free. It has been over 3.5 years that follow this program, and then I launched a project that's called Adopt a Farmer. And finally, I have been working with Professor Andrea Segre, who is actually the one who invented and launched this precometro. He's been working on this issue for the last 20 years. So he was really sensitive to this issue long before this became a problem. Well, it has always been a problem, but we became aware of this problem. So in reality, a couple of years ago, Professor Segre contacted me because he said, okay, I have created this application, which is actually creates a virtual community in which people talk to each other on how to avoid food loss, food and waste loss. And he said, well, we talk about regular people. How about restaurants? Well, this year I've been nominated, like last year, ambassador for the Waste Watcher, which is the association which works closely with the European community to understand exactly what's going on. According to the cross-country statistics, which are based on scientific studies, something was really weird. I mean, when I read all the statistics, I was really appalled. The most virtual country is actually Japan, and Italy is not in a good position. Consider this: every Italian wastes about 600 grams of food every week, which doesn't seem like a lot, right? But at the end of the year, if we calculate all the food waste and loss, we can actually feed almost 4 million people. So you understand that living in this country and understanding Italian culture is something that is blew my mind. One of the things that we do, one of the things that we understood is actually the food waste happens more at home than in restaurants. Throwing food out of the window in the restaurant means throwing money. So we are actually more careful. There are certain things that can be done, like for instance, promoting like a certification for fermentation, which is something really hard that people do, but they have to be very careful because of the health department. So certification would be more than welcome in the restaurant business. But at home, what can we do? Well, we can do a lot of things, but I think we have to focus because it's not like one action that will solve the problem. It's many actions. So I decided to focus on education. In Italy, we don't have a nutrition education that starts very early in life. Right now, everybody has still the ideas that Italian community and Italian tradition, you can see people, especially women, but not necessarily only women right now, go to the market like twice a week and they cook at home. Well, that has changed a lot. The statistics, the scientific studies, and also what we can see, for instance, a design by interior designers of new houses, they have like a sort of like toy kitchen because people don't cook at home anymore. We have delivery, and a lot of people, especially the younger generation, have understood that they can substitute the kitchen at home with a restaurant or delivery. This is something that goes against our tradition, and it has damaging effects on biodiversity because a lot of food is either prepackaged or frozen, and it comes to our house and we actually don't eat it all. So I focus on education. One of the things that I really, really wish is that the Italian government take in consideration in promoting the nutrition education since early ages. The more you learn about food, the more you will respect. For instance, in Japan, not only they have to eat everything that is in their dish, so at their plate, everything, but also there are certain schools that promote the washing, the cleaning of the dish afterwards, because that make kids aware of what they are wasting. So I really hope that since early ages, so elementary school, there will be a mandatory nutritional classes, because kids that we have to change the culture, and kids have to learn where food comes from, how much we waste, and this way we can probably hope that the next generation will probably go back to cook at home, which is against my interest because I have a restaurant. But I always say that going to the restaurant needs to be something happens once, maybe twice a week, but not every day. We have to go back to when we cook at home so that we can actually measure how much we buy, not going to the grocery store just once a week and filling up our refrigerator and then we waste half of it. And I want to say one more thing. According to the scientific studies and the statistics released by the cross country wastewater studies, we understood that in reality, the lower classes unfortunately waste more food than upper classes. And one of the reasons, I'm not saying it's the only one, is all the offers of canned food, which end up in the back of our kitchen. We don't know where they are. And when we find them, we find out that actually expired maybe like 6 months or a year before. And so that creates even more waste than we actually do. So again, education will bring to respect of the food, and respect of the food will bring probably the new generation to be more aware that wasting food is definitely something that shouldn't be done because of many reasons, which are technically linked to ethical living. And that,
Thank you very much, Christina. Indeed, I mean we've worked and exchanged on school knowledge and imparting knowledge to youngsters around the topics of food loss and waste and World Food Day and the necessity of healthy diets. And I think it's absolutely critical that you continue the type of work that you are doing. Christina, you want to tell us a little bit about Adopt a Farmer and
sure.
Binta about the Dine and Plate? Okay, over to you.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well, I
sorry.
do a lot of like volunteer work because
Mhm.
like David and like Douglas and Fatma, who we know each other,
Yeah,
we really believe in community. So many years ago, I've been one of the founders and president for the Ambasciatori del Gusto for 6 years. I launched this program, which is actually, like it's free because it came to me because I said, how can we actually translate into words what we actually into actions what we say, and it came up with this concept, adopt a farmer. So every restaurant business, every chef adopt one person that promotes a certain ingredient. Probably an ingredient is not well known. You can put a video on, so there's like examples of what I do. I've been part of Chef's Manifesto for now 6 years, and for instance, last year and during these last couple of years, we've been pushing the legumes, which you see right here. I make a garbanzo beans miso that I use in this leftover pasta, leftover fish. So it's a poor cuisine. These mushrooms, actually, which are cardoncelli mushrooms, but I adopted two young guys who actually farm mushrooms for me. This other particular guy talks about trombolotto. Trombolotto is a citrus from the Tuscia region. I adopted them. But what does that mean? It means basically that I, as a chef, I have the consumers know what I'm talking about. Sometimes even people from Rome, from Lazio, don't know what this particular lemon, is. They don't know anything about it. So I kind of like educate them. first. Second, I buy their products. It has to be on my menu all the time and I pay for it. We all know we get contacted by a bunch of companies that say, can you be a testimonial for my product and so on? So I get the products from free and I make a couple of whatever Instagram pictures and so on. I refuse to do that. And so I adopt a farmer. I adopted like a very young guy who actually dedicated a post to me last year who produces the non-GMO organic black corn flour in Italy. This guy and his wife, Trombolotto, so it's a citrus. The other two guys, I supported them and I guarantee that I buy their entire crop of mushrooms. They're very young. They started it and it's amazing. It doesn't cost any money. It educates people, support farmers, because if we don't understand that we need to support the farmers to defend our biodiversity and in reality develop what is a culture and respect of ethically grown food, we are going nowhere. So I really hope that this message will go through and will keep on going through. Thanks also to Chef's Manifesto, who allows me to talk about this project every single time I'm with them. I really hope that it goes very well for everyone because it's not only us, but it's the entire world and the new generation.
Thank you, Cristina. Indeed, a really great project.